What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Deep Thoughts with Dill. Today we got Sarah out here.
Hi.
Sarah's about to drop some knowledge on us, share a little bit about her story. So, all right, we'll begin. Sarah, where'd you grow up at?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Nice.
Yeah, it was.
What was it like growing up out there?
When I was a kid, it was hard. Like, I mean, I lived in Memphis, and honestly, I was like the only white girl. I'll be real. Like in school and stuff, I got bullied a lot. Finally, like my mom was like, "Okay, listen, if these people keep hitting you, just knock them out." Like for real. And so I started knocking people out left and right in like elementary school, and I got like expelled. So we went on the state line in Mississippi because we didn't get a new house anyway, because we were close to like Orange Mound and like the worst areas possible anyway. So we ended up moving to Mississippi, and I went to school out there.
Okay. Orange Mound, those are some of the...
Orange Mound is like the projects of Memphis. Like,
Okay.
it was bad. Bad.
So those are some pretty rough areas. I mean, Memphis has always had like a high murder rate.
Yeah, it's like number 3 right now. Pretty sure.
Number 3.
Number 3, like, and that's probably where most of them went down at, is Orange Mound.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So moved out of Orange Mound, moved out of Memphis, kind of towards like the tippy top of Mississippi.
Yeah,
state
5
line.
minutes from Memphis. Literally 5 minutes from Memphis. So.
Okay.
State line.
Got it. And then like what did you like to do growing up? Like, did you like to do anything? Did you have any like fond childhood memories, anything like that? You know?
I liked playing sports, but I would never like to finish them. Like,
Yeah.
I did like soccer, I did softball, basketball, I did like 2 days of cheerleading. The only thing that I really went through with was Taekwondo, like 3rd degree black belt by the time I was very young.
That's cool.
I really liked that. And I would have kept going, honestly, like, in, like, training people and everything, but I fucked my ankle up really bad.
Yeah.
And shit, so it just didn't work out for me.
Well, I definitely get that. You know, I played a lot of different sports when I was younger, and I never really liked them.
I liked soccer. I did like soccer, but my ankle was kind of messed up, but I was a great goalie.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, soccer's cool.
I was tall, though, for my age. Like, I'm, like, 5'6" right now. When I was, like, 12, I was, like, 5'6", too. Like,
You started growing fast.
yeah, and then I just stopped, like, at 12. Yeah.
When did you start using?
The first time I ever used, like, marijuana, like, that was the first thing, honestly, was 13.
13.
And then, I mean, like, that was basically it, you know, and then, like, about 17, it went to Xanax, and then from, like, 18 to 20, it was, like, hallucinogens. I had tried my DOC at the time, like, just snorted a little bit of some meth. I might have tried, like, you know, like, a Percocet or something, but didn't really care for it.
Yeah.
I always was like, oh, I can pick up and set down. So, like, eventually, I couldn't pick up and set down. Like, I had that pride over my shoulders. Like, I'm not an addict. Like, I can do this.
Yeah. Totally.
But it went south fast by the time I was 22. Yeah. 21 or 22, something like that.
Yeah, totally. I can relate to that, too. I remember fucking around with, you know, black tar heroin, meth, pills, and always kind of having, that pride on my shoulder of, you know, I don't do it all the time, and I was about 16 when I started fucking around with all that, and I remember, you know, being like, you know, I can put this shit down, but I really couldn't. I mean, I was an addict, you know, already. I'd already crossed over that line. So you started fucking around with Xanax bars, maybe taking a little Percocet here and there.
17, 18, 19.
And was life still kind of, so I'm assuming life was still kind of like manageable, like you were still able to kind of function a little bit in the beginning.
My choice in guys was not manageable, and I did find myself on the streets multiple times.
Okay.
I did sell drugs a lot more than I did them in the beginning.
Okay.
That's really what kept me up and stable. Like,
Yeah.
but also, I always managed to have a job. That's where I would do most of my trapping at, was working at, like, I mean, I was serving tables, so, I mean, like, yeah. I mean, certain customers, you get that vibes.
Yeah.
Certain coworkers, you get that vibe, and it was very easy. I could get everything off of me in the shift, like.
And what kind of drugs were you selling, if you don't mind me asking?
In the beginning, it was acid. Like, I have sheets of acid, or like the drops.
Yeah.
And Xanax, and I somehow I stole a pill presser, and I started pressing my own ecstasies. I call them rolls, but ecstasy.
Yeah.
So of course I had to get in contact with a lot more harder drugs, you know, in order to press them. But I never did them until I was like 19, like meth and stuff like that. MDMA I was pretty familiar with though too. So.
Okay. And then did you eventually start selling meth?
Oh yeah. When I was, I'm about to be 24. When I was like 21, I started selling meth, heroin, lots of heroin, fentanyl, crack, cocaine. What else? Xanax, all kinds, yellow, blue, green, like everything. Honestly, I sold basically everything that I could get my hands on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was a journey.
So you were selling it all,
Yeah,
pretty much.
basically.
And then where did your addiction kind of, is that kind of when your addiction kind of took off? Was in the past couple of years?
Yeah. Most of the time, I still didn't think I was an addict, but most of the time it was like I could still pick it up and set it down. I never touched heroin, not purposely.
Yeah.
Maybe on accident, I speedballed a little bit, but it was like messed up. But like, it really got to me once I picked up a needle. I was never able to set it down, ever. Like,
Yeah.
I picked up a needle literally like less than a year ago, and then I wake up 6 months down the road, and I'm like, dude, I've been stabbing myself with a needle every single day.
Yeah.
You know, for 6 months, every single day. I was shooting at meth at the time. Always.
Yeah.
I never shot up anything else, but you know, I take downers to come down or
Yeah.
something.
Totally.
Yeah, that's where shit got real.
Okay. And is there a lot of meth in Memphis or Tennessee, or
Okay,
would
so
you say there's a lot in the southern region, the southeast?
okay, so in the beginning, like, I had tried meth in Memphis,
Yeah.
but eventually I moved to Clarksville, Tennessee, which is like 45 minutes south of like Nashville.
Yeah.
And no, north of Nashville. It's like on the state line too, Kentucky and Tennessee at this point. So like, that's where I really started selling meth and heroin at. I don't know much about Memphis. Most people just got it for me and was like, hey, you know, what's up? And they had it, and so I did it.
Yeah.
And Clarksville or Tennessee area that I know about, yes, it's bad on meth and heroin or fentanyl, like
Okay.
both, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's very bad, and a lot of IV users, a ton.
Okay. Okay, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, back home there's a lot of meth and heroin. Now it's fentanyl. It's all meth and fentanyl, these little fentanyl pills that people are doing. But
See, I've never seen one of those. They said
Yeah.
it like straight fentanyl, but it was cut, like, it looked like a rock.
yeah, see that I think there's really no difference for those of you guys who are watching out there, like, from what it seems like is like the whole country seems to be into meth and heroin, you know? I've heard on the East Coast, like, they still fuck with, like, crack and heroin. They don't really fuck with meth, but...
Oh, yeah, there was a ton of people using crack in Tennessee. A ton.
Yeah. So they kind of had it all out there.
Yeah. Especially up north in Tennessee. It was crazy. Memphis, I would believe it. Because, I mean, like, rappers, drug dealers, all that other stuff. That's really what Memphis is known for. But at the time, I hadn't involved myself that much in that. I would do shit like ecstasy and stuff, like selling that stuff when I was in
Party drugs.
Party drugs, yes.
Yeah.
Like University of Memphis. I would sell that to those people and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel you on that, on the needle thing too. You know, I mean, I didn't get too into the needle, but I have slammed before, and I mean, yeah, it seems like, you know, I mean, people go downhill in whatever route of administration they're doing, but I think that's kind of where we left off, is that you were saying, you know, once you started slamming, shit started going downhill, and then you kind of woke up, and then you decided to get into recovery.
Yeah, it took a long time, though. Like, I mean, it took a year, so, I mean, better than some, but, I mean, my addiction, that year felt like years, because, I mean, like, you're up for so long.
Yeah.
And, like...
Totally.
So it's like, yeah.
It's terrible. I mean, I did a lot of crystal meth. That was my main drug of choice. It's pretty nasty drug to be addicted to. And the clientele is pretty bottom of the barrel, like I would say. I mean, it's, you know, I feel like back home, like the tweakers back home, they're looked at a little bit differently than like the heroin addicts or the fentanyl addicts. I mean, because a lot of them, I mean, then you have, it's weird though, because you have your people that live in homes and shit that smoke meth and shit and like somehow function, but then you have a lot of like homeless meth heads that are homeless tweakers that are, you know, riding around on bikes. They've been incarcerated. They're panhandling. They're I mean, it's a rough scene.
Yeah, and like,
you know.
I don't know. I mean, like, I've done the meth, like, you know, basically every way, but like, I never went into like a psychosis until I started shooting. So I don't know if like people go into psychosis like as much as shooters or what, because I'm ADHD, so it never affected me like many people. It never affected me like many people at all, you know, like, so then when I started shooting it, I woke up one day and like being sober for like 30 days, and like I like started remembering all my psychoses, and like I really thought, oh, I was only in psychosis like 2 times. No, I was literally talking to people on the walls of my apartments. My roommate just called me because she was checking on me, my old roommate. She said I had a whole argument with the TV that was turned off.
Oh yeah.
Like,
easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
I was tripping.
Yeah.
Like, twacked out of my mind.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's just terrible. I went into psychosis several times myself, and I had a nurse practitioner tell me once that each time you go into psychosis, it damages your brain. It's like really tough on your brain to be in a psychotic, like a meth-induced psychosis like that. And yeah, it's miserable being in that state of mind. So I feel you on that. You know, it's really rough.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're talking about that, so like people know, like, or like if like a young kid sees this, you know what I mean, they know, like, or if they're thinking about trying meth, you know what I mean, they know about that aspect of it. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or they might think it's cool, or it's really not.
And all your I mean, I had some morals that didn't go away, but basically all your morals and values go down the drain. Like, I used to be very confident in myself. I mean, I'm definitely working to that again, like, and it's helped a lot, but like, I lost the idea of what I deserved and what I didn't deserve, and I held on to many people that literally was horrible to me. And like, so with that being said, you will lose your sense of inner self and your love for yourself doing almost any drug. I mean, I would like to say that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, like,
it's not all glamorous. It's actually pretty painful. And
yeah, sure. I was losing weight. I was 225. I was losing weight. I thought I looked bomb as hell, but I had so many demons eventually I caught PTSD from. Like, so with that being said, like, nobody wants to lose their sense of worth themselves and deal with more than they should.
That's right. Yeah. I think I lost a lot of self-worth or self-esteem getting, using and shit too. So I'm really glad we're talking about this. What do you like looking forward to now that you're in recovery and you're about to go home tomorrow?
Monday, yeah.
We shouldn't talk about that.
No, it's okay.
Because I know
we're great.
But
I am certain now. Like, I feel very confident. I mean, I know it's not going to be peaches and cream. I know it's not going to be easy. I mean, I am going to a sober living in an area that I don't really know. But that's good for me. That's very good for me. I don't need to be Clarksville or Memphis. But being there is perfect. And, like, apparently there's good jobs out there. I'm just feeling like I'm already getting blessed in small ways, but blessed, and I'm not even out of treatment yet. So, like, I can only imagine how it's going to be in 6 months. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
And there's always, like, this one thing that somebody taught me. I think it was Johnny. He said, listen, if you step and you jump all the way past that door of active addiction, not leave one toe out, you jump past it, listen, that door is always back for you to do. You can always go back to that door. But, or you can see how blessed you get with your life being clean, and you can burn the door down,
Exactly.
And so, like, but it's always, drugs are always going to be there. So, I mean, it's not like you're, like, losing, like, you grieve drugs when you get clean. Like, you grieve that. But, like, wholeheartedly, drugs are going to be there. Your life ain't always going to be here, So that's what I'm very certain about, and I will always remember, is that. And I think that's going to hold me to committing to stay clean.
That's awesome. I think it's really cool that you're talking about already seeing some of those blessings that you're having in your recovery. And another thing too is like the geographical, I don't want to call it a geographical change, because people always talk about that like in a negative way. They'll be like, oh, geographical change doesn't fix anything, or like whatever the fuck they say. But it's, I think there's definitely something to be said about it. I mean, I know so many people back home that they left their hometown, and came out to Phoenix to get sober. And people do that with like all different kinds of places. I think it can really help, and I think other people would agree with that too, that there's something to be said about that. I mean, getting out of your old environment, I'm doing the same thing, kind of. I'm going back to Arizona, but I'm not going to the town where I'm from. And I think that's what you're doing too, right? You're going to Mississippi, somewhere over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of grew up in Memphis and Mississippi, so like, I mean, at least it's still Mississippi. At least it's close to family, but not too close, And I can start a new life, I'm very excited. I'm nervous as hell, but I'm excited. I'm excited now. Very.
That's really cool. That makes me really happy to hear. Well, you got anything else to say?
No, I don't actually.
All right, we'll end it here. All right. There you have it, folks. Deep Thoughts with Dill.
All right.